your scenes work, then your story works. Hi writers, welcome back to my channel where we are breaking down the different kinds of writer's tools that you can use. Now, I saw that you really loved this video where I really break down the scene and how to outline it, but I noticed that it's a little long and mostly it's me writing. So I thought I would take that video and show you how to do that in a little bit more of a easy peasy kind of way, a little more succinctly. So let's get started. So the first thing you need to know that when you're outlining a scene is basically a mini story inside your story. So you can break down your story into acts, sequences, scenes, and ultimately beats. But if your scenes work, then your story works. You might need to move things around. You might need to sort things out a little bit. But if the scenes work, then your story works. Basically, as long as you've got them in sequence, I suppose. So what happens when you get stuck? Well, when you get stuck, it's basically the idea is that you don't know where to go next. You don't know what you might know down the road, but you don't know the next thing to happen. And that's when you get stuck. So I'm going to use this time to break that writer's block, break down a scene, and show you how you do that step by step by step. Now, when I made that video last year, it was basically a video that I was working through becoming a planner. I was trying to plan my novel last year. I've since realized that I'm not a planner. I'll never be a planner. I am what I'm calling a plantster. You might have heard this term. It's the pantser and planner moved together, and I feel that this identifies me quite well. So if you like labels, maybe that's the label for you, but that's definitely the label for me. And one of the tools I was using in that video, I was using a tool from Abby Emmons. It's a paid tool, but I'm going to just use simple tools outlined by Basic Storytelling and StoryGrid. StoryGrid's awesome. StoryGrid's awesome. So let's go with the 5 commandments of storytelling. That's your inciting incident, your turning point, progressive complication. It's a tongue twister. Your crisis, your climax, and your resolution. It's 5. So you need to have those, and I'm going to call those your tent poles. So you might have those tent poles for your entire novel. You might even have those tent poles for each act. But you get stuck because you don't know how to get your main character from this point to this point. And this is where these tent poles can come in handy for a scene. Let me walk you through it. So right now I am stuck in my mid-build. I'm not stuck, but I get stuck and I get kind of bogged down in the muddy middle. So I've got these sequence of scenes that I have found, and I found them by making smaller tents with my tent poles. So I looked at my mid-build as a series of those 5 commandments. So I had my 5 for the novel, and I looked at them for 5 for the act. And then I got to a sequence, and that sequence was pretty great. It was a sequence of progressive complications. And I got to a progressive complication that was a tool scene. So this is a scene where my main character and their team of allies, because previous scene we gathered the allies. So in this scene, they need to get their tools to fight the big bad. It's not going to work because this is the middle, and it doesn't work until the end, but they don't know that. So they need to get their tools, and the tool in this case is a branch off a plant. This branch off a plant is going to help them get rid of the ghosts that are haunting the hospital where they are. So they need this branch. Now, I could just have them over, pick the branch, and then that was it. That's not a scene, that's a beat, and it's boring. What I also want this scene to do is I also want it to kind of enhance my relationships between my allies. I want it to build tension, and I want it to basically reveal something about character, because if it doesn't matter to your character, it's not going to matter to your reader. And remember, you're not writing for yourself anymore. If you are writing for a reader, then you are writing for a reader. If you only want to write for yourself and sit in your house and make up stories, that's fine. Do it. do it. But if you intend to have readers, as I do, I would like to have some readers one day, then you need to like sit down and think about that and really imagine how your reader's going to feel in these scenes. And I actually looked at this recently in a podcast upcoming. They're going to be published soon, I promise. But the podcast I'm doing with Irene, where she actually pointed this out to me, and it was a really good note, and watch out for that podcast. It will be in you'll be able to find it through my channel. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Great. My tool scene. So my tool scene, I know the resolution. They're going to get this branch. And I know the inciting incident. They need to go get the branch. So I've got 2 of my 5 right there. Need to get branch, gonna get branch, right? And that could be it. That could be the whole thing. And that's a beat, and that's boring. Boring. So I need to write the 3 in the middle, right? Yes. So progressive complication. What are the progressive complications going to be for this particular scene? So there are some options here. I could have the ghosts, who I have as my antagonist. They could be in the bushes, and that could be like a scary little beat that could happen. I could have that they haven't brought any scissors with them, and these branches are really thick, and they can't get through them. I could have it that the area they're not supposed to be in, and somebody's coming to shoo them away. And I like that one. And I think I'm going to use all 3, actually, because I want this scene to be really good. But the final progressive complication is going to be that somebody is coming and they need to go, which takes me to my crisis. Now, my crisis is best bad choice or best good choice. In this case, best bad choice. She, my main character, who's called Scylla, could leave the branch that she needs, or she could sacrifice one of her allies. And I want this choice to reveal character a little bit. And I want it to be maybe the wrong choice. Or maybe I just want to see what happens next. But see, this scene, they need to have the branch at the end. So I know she's got to pick the branch, right? Or do I? What if, because I've got more than one ally, what if she decides to leave the branch, but one of her other allies gets the branch? So I have a misdirect. That could be kind of fun, and I think I'm going to go with that. So I have solved my scene. Wait, there's a 4th point. There's another point. Where's point 4? Climax. Okay, so once she's made the choice, that's a crisis. She's made the choice. She's going to save her ally. So she's going to save their ally, and they're going to run. They're going to leave the branch, and they're going to run, and she's going to save her ally. So they get away, and they run. And now this could be actually another series of beats, more progressive complications. They could have to jump over things. They could get separated. This could get this is where scenes become sequences, right here. I think they're going to run and they're going to get away because I know I've got another long running scene that I'm going to break up later. When you're doing progressive complications, you don't want to repeat yourself. It's really important that you don't repeat yourself. So I know I'm doing that later. I know that as the mid build comes closer to the end, I'm going to be having a sequence where they're running away and it gets hairy and messy. So I don't want that to happen here. And not yet. That's going to happen later. And I want it to happen later because that's scarier. That's a bigger deal. So they're going to get away and she's going to think she left the branch and, oh no, I've left the branch and but I got it because, and then it also does the thing that I want it to do, which shows the value of the allies because I've got these allies. And if Scylla does everything, then my allies, why are they there? So it actually makes the particular allies that I am writing earn their keep. And that's really important too. We saw that in the allies video. Check that one out as well. Isn't that better than they need the branch, they get the branch? Come on, it's better, right? Yeah. So there it is. There is outlining a scene, and that is how you do it. Now you can grab the workbook below where I take you through all these points one by one by one, and it is available right now on my Patreon. And you can also read the blog post that's attached to this, and it's in the link below as well. Thanks, guys. Keep writing and let me know what scenes you're working on and if this helped and if you want more videos like this. To review, you have your tent poles. That's your 5 commandments of storytelling and your progressive complications. You can use these as points of reference for where you are in your story and to break it down sequence by sequence or even scene by scene. If you want more workbooks like this, download them from my Patreon account. I'll see you next time.